How often have you heard it said, Christmas time is for the children? We all know some children, either members of our family or friends' children, and most of us were children. Maybe though, we all have had experiences of childhood that weren't 100% perfect, or in honesty for some, very far from perfect. But even then, there were still real glimpses of beauty. We often delight in seeing small children resting, relaxing, trusting, or curled up asleep, and are even delighted watching them when they're awake. Small children raising their hands and wanting to be scooped up, somehow knowing they are loved, protected, and nourished. Children experimenting, being allowed to make mistakes and messes, but somehow secure that their world will continue with new journeys and adventures to explore. I sometimes think that if you are going to search for God, well, you might as well search until you find the real deal. The one responsible for this vast and beautiful universe. You may have seen some of the extraordinary photos from the James Watt telescope, perhaps. I wonder at all the energy and creativity needed to do that. And then seeing that it is still dynamic and moving. Now imagine if you were that same God and bizarrely wanted to make yourself known to humankind. Bizarrely, because you're almost certainly going to get a lot of heartache and misunderstanding, as well as joy and love. And then God decides to come as the Son, to come and live as a real flesh and blood human being, to know all the heartache, frustrations, disappointments that we know. I imagine that if I was wanting my eldest child to be born on earth, I would want it to be a pretty special event. I would choose the best hospital and safest society, the best I could afford. But even more bizarrely, the Lord God of the universe sends his most precious child to a really rough area, overwhelmed by foreign forces. Maybe like sending your child to be born in Eastern Ukraine or Sudan or North Korea. Seriously weird, but he truly does understand suffering. This is the vulnerable Christ child, destined to be adored by his family, friends and community, scooped up, given presents, cared for by many, and then destroyed by the oppressors at Easter time. Well, Christmas time really is for children. So as we look down at children we know and delight in, just stop among these hectic times and imagine that God is looking down at us with delight and desire to scoop us up as well. So what can we do in response? Well, starting on the journey of faith is as simple as being like a small child, giving up trying to be successful by ourselves, seeking, asking and raising our hands to be scooped up, starting to find peace and security even in a difficult world. We may have longed to be scooped up as children, but experienced instead being dropped. But God is a good Father. So Christmas really is about the children, the ones we know, and also about ourselves, looking up and being looked down on in delight. What do you think?